Hi there, Phil Simborg. As many of you know, I am a full-time backgammon teacher. I retired from real estate several years ago. Started teaching backgammon as a hobby about 20 years ago and was doing it part-time, and now I'm doing it full-time. And I have all kinds of students. I have beginners to open-level player students and enjoy all kinds of teaching. However, there's a special challenge when I teach experienced players and better players and players who have been around for quite a while. Not only do I have to teach new concepts and approaches and ideas and strategies, but I also have to teach the experienced players how to get rid of some of the old strategies and ideas that they've had that are wrong. So it's sometimes even harder to teach a better player. And one of the old thoughts and old myths about backgammon that we had before the bots proved otherwise and taught us to play better was the concept of double jeopardy. In this position, you have a 4-2 to play. And if you were concerned about double jeopardy, you would take a checker off the 6 point, because now you get down to 2 checkers sooner and you either leave the shot or you don't quicker. By leaving 3 checkers on the 6 point, you are risking leaving shots now, and if you move 1 checker off of the 6 point, you will also be risking leaving shots later, and that's what they meant by double jeopardy. And double jeopardy was the theory back in the 70s and 80s, and until the bots started teaching us otherwise. But we found now that it's generally not true, that we're better off, in this case, taking off 2 checkers. Why are we better off taking off 2 checkers? Well, first of all, if you take off 2 checkers, let's see what it looks like. Your only way to leave a shot next time is with a 6-5. That's a 6-5 or a 5-6. That's 2 rolls. If you move off the 6 point, now you can leave a shot with 6-1 or 5-1. That's 4 rolls. So you have more ways of leaving a shot. Secondly, you only get 1 checker off. The more checkers off, the better off you are in terms of both wins and gammons generally, because you get another checker off. Now, sometimes people think, well, getting an extra checker off going to an even number doesn't matter, because you don't gain a roll when you go from 3 checkers off to 4 checkers off, because you have an odd number of checkers left. Well, that's absolutely true if you never miss. But here you have an open 5 point, and it's quite possible that you will roll a 5 before the game is over. It's also possible you might roll 2 2s or 3 1s or some other number where you'd miss. So when there's a possibility that you can miss, getting an extra checker off still matters. So in this case, it proves that double jeopardy is wrong. By the way, I don't want to mislead you. If you only had 1 checker on the 4 point, and by playing 2 checkers off, you would leave an opening in the 4 point, then it would be wrong to take 2 checkers off. Why? Because if you take 2 checkers off now, not only do you leave a shot with a 6-5, you also leave a shot with a 6-4 and a 5-4. That's a lot more shots than leaving shots only with a 6-1 or a 5-1. So the answer is you generally leave 3 checkers on the 6 point as long as you have a 4 to play after the roll. So this play sort of disproves double jeopardy, at least in this position. Let me show you another position where the same concept comes into play that came up just the other day with one of my students. Actually, it came up this morning. Red has a 4-1 to play. How would you play it? Well, it's the same concept. He played both checkers off the 4 point to get rid of double jeopardy. You get down to 2 checkers right away, and you either leave the shot or you don't. If you leave 3 checkers on the 4 point, you may risk leaving a shot on this roll, and if you don't leave a shot on this roll, you leave a risk of leaving a shot on the next roll, and it sounds like you're putting yourself in double jeopardy. But let's look at the play. First of all, look at the answer. It's hugely right to take 2 checkers off. You win about the same number of games. It's slightly better, a tiny bit better, to take 1 more checker off. But look at this. Your gammons went up 8%. And depending on where blue's checkers are, you might win more games as well. But here again, the point is that taking another checker off is going to get you more gammons. But also, if you do end up leaving a shot, you are going to have more checkers off, and you might still win even after you leave the shot. So generally speaking, if you're not quite sure, there's a good rule of thumb that says peel the checkers. But again, let's look specifically at the two plays. If you make this play, what leaves the shot? 6-5, 6-4, 5-4. Leave a shot. That's 6 numbers. 6-4 and 5-6 are 2 numbers. 6-4 and 4-6 are 2 numbers. 5-4 and 4-5 are 2 numbers, because there's 2 ways to roll each of those rolls. Now let's say you made this play. What leaves the shot? 6-2, 2-6, 5-2, 2-5, 4-2, 2-4. Again, 6 numbers. So in both cases, you're leaving the same number of shots, but in one case, you're getting an extra checker off. Getting an extra checker off does matter because, again, you're very likely to roll a 2 at some point. And even if you don't, if you end up leaving the shot and getting hit, one more checker off is just going to keep you in the game that much longer and maybe allow you to take a cube or allow you to win because you have one more checker off. So both of these positions disprove the theory of double jeopardy. Generally speaking, I would take that idea and just whoosh it out of your brain and play for the best odds according to Extreme Gammon. Another way, another concept that I want to leave you with is whenever you see a play that Extreme Gammon recommends and you're not sure the reason why, see if you can make up one up. That's what we've all done. We work backwards from what Extreme Gammon says is right, and we come up with the reasons for it and try to remember the reasons and logic for it so that we can make the right plays. It's not brain surgery when we start out by knowing the answers, like taking a test where you're given the answer and you have to come up with the reasons. Why do you have to come up with the reasons? Because you won't remember every play, but you can remember the theory and the reasons so that when other plays are similar or the same play comes up again, you'll remember it. So one thing I want you to remember, forget double jeopardy. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed this.